Hi everybody, I'm Sean Hussey. Today I'll be discussing my personality, my strengths, weaknesses, a couple goals I've set for this class, and expectations of our team. So first we'll go over the typology test. I got a ENTJ, which is the same that I got in 7th grade, so I guess my personality hasn't changed too much. Extrovert, for E, I got extrovert, which is at 9%, which means I'm just barely more extroverted than introverted. And I can kind of see this in myself in terms of like, I love to hang out with my friends and family, but there is a time when I kind of want to be alone at the end of the day. I is intuitive, 22%. Intuitive just means like, I trust myself for the most part, but I would like to gain like an outside perception of my environment before coming to like a confirmed decision. T, 19% is thinking, which is the proof that I make intuitive decisions after thinking. And then 22% in judging, and that's kind of self-explanatory. Like, I like to come to conclusions before I kind of jump to an action or anything. And all those percentages were below 22%, so it kind of points out that I'm well balanced and not like super good at one thing or super bad at one thing. I'm just kind of dead center. For Big 5 personality tests, I got extroversion 3.5, agreeableness 3.4, consistency 4.4, stability 4.1, and openness to experience 3.8. So extroversion and agreeableness were considered moderate, and that kind of goes along with my typology test in that like I'm kind of extroverted and I am agreeable in group environments. Consistency and stability were my highest, and I think that kind of just goes with my like hard work mindset and my want to achieve things. And then openness to experience, I'm kind of always trying to figure out like new ways to do things or to learn something new, something fun. On to the third test, locus of control, I scored a 28, which is considered moderate. Not 100% sure of what that means. I think it just means like I want to get like I want to like control myself, but also reach out and like help other people at the same time. I think it also means that I can lead when need be, and my mindset's a little bit more future oriented than just focus on the present only. For type personality test, I think I took a different type test than everybody else because I got a score of 5 out of 10, which I'm not sure what that means, but it said I was a type B person, which I generally agree with just because I have low stress levels and I work pretty hard and I work like steadily. But type B people apparently have bad time management, which I definitely don't see in myself because like I use planners and I hate being late to things, and I think that's kind of a false classification of myself, but I do think I'm barely a type B person more than type A. For learning test styles, I'm a visual learner, which I definitely could see myself like when I want to study really hard for a final or midterm or something, I go to the library where it's nice and quiet, and I do a lot of reading, which is kind of the visual part that I need to learn, or do research like finding pictures online that kind of display it or so on. And I like to make PowerPoints, which is another form of my visual style. For emotional intelligence tests, I scored a 70, but not 100% sure what that means because the test was like pretty undescriptive and I was doing it like at 1 a.m. so I'm not sure I scored what I think I scored. And then the last test is the aptitude for entrepreneurship test. I got an overall score of 141. My motivations were 53, aptitudes were 57, and attitudes were 33. So my motivations were success, power, ambition, and freedom. And those were all like 1 to 2 points below the average, which means like I want to achieve those things, but like they're not the most important thing to me. Aptitudes, I got resistance to stress and perseverance, which can come in handy in a group environment and like encouraging other people, like we gotta make it through this to get to this, and resistance to stress will hopefully like suppress stress levels if any of our group members have them. But it can also be a low weakness just because I'm a little more laid back as a person, and like it's more difficult for me to empathize with stress than like the average person, I think. Attitudes, my 2 attitudes that were high were perception of destiny and action oriented. And I can see the action oriented part because I've always enjoyed like sports and like outdoor activities and so on. And then perception of destiny, I think that's just another phrase for like future thinking and being like focusing on how my present actions are going to affect my future actions. And then just to summarize them all up, like I don't feel like I learned too much new things about myself. It's kind of all the results that I expected to, which is good. It means that maybe I know myself better than I thought I did. And then on to team things. I said that generally when I work in team environments, I'm like a facilitator or an organizer, and when need be, a leader. And some of the personality that kind of falls into those titles is like organized, not stressed, goal-oriented, and I think that does help me with team-related things. And I will just conclude with the goals I have. So I want to get a lot better at like elaborating on things I don't know so well about, which sounds like an odd goal, but it pretty much just means like if we're doing a presentation or something, like I want to try to answer the question that's addressed directly to me instead of like passing it off to someone who might know a little bit better about it. And then just my second goal is to treat everybody like with kindness, but also just like differently than just a team member, like to treat them as a hard worker, as someone who's like trying to achieve the same goals, but also get to know them, like their creative ideas, their strengths, their weaknesses, and so on. And then obviously celebrate like our team's success. So yeah, those are my personalities, strengths, weaknesses, and goals.